It's a tough life when you're known throughout the town as the Stinky Kid, or just plain Stinky for short. When most people look at Stinky, they can't see past the stench that makes their eyes water. Well, you will learn to look through that funky green haze and appreciate Stinky's ability to teach you the concepts of algebra. But before we get to know Stinky on a deeper level, let's focus on the town that Stinky lives in, so we can better understand where he's coming from. Colonia is an extremely small town whose property boundaries only allow for 2 houses, one on the east side of Main Street and one on the west. People move in and out of town, move from house to house, share rooms, and even though it's not a very big town, it's always quite interesting. It's even more interesting since Stinky inherited and now owns one of the houses. Stinky decides to clean up his act for a while to enhance people to rent rooms at his house. He gets a few people to move in and makes sure that they pay all their rent up front before he puts his diabolical plan into effect. Next, Stinky stops showering completely and forgoes any form of personal hygiene. A 20-mile bike ride every day, never changing an article of clothing, just makes matters worse. And just to kick it up another notch, Stinky constantly eats things like onions, garlic, tuna fish, beans, and cabbage. Nasty. Needless to say, both he and his house start to develop a bit of an odor.
A bit? A bit? Are you kidding me?
As time goes on, Stinky's renters can't take it anymore, and they start to move out.
We can't go back. We can never go back.
Of course, relationally, some have more at stake than others, and they don't want to hurt his feelings. Stinky had a pretty good idea how things were going to turn out, so he made sure to place the renters that barely knew him in the rooms farther away from his. And those closest to him stayed in nearby rooms or even his room, either in a bunk bed or another bed right next to his. Then, just as he anticipated, people were moving out in order of their level of closeness to him. Least closest to nearest and dearest. His closest friends were the last to leave because, let's face it, they knew better than anyone that Stinky is stinky. It just took a little more effort and a little more exposure to the stinky zone to convince them. Once everyone was gone, Stinky realized that he had his money, and he had the house all to himself. He now knew that if he could rent out the rooms again and stick to the same equation, there was no reason that he wouldn't get the same result every time. As you can see, a typical algebraic equation can be placed into Stinky's house, and the individual pieces of the equation move out in the same order as the renters, farthest away to the closest to Stinky, and the variable that you are solving for is Stinky.
Oh, come on!